Okay, we are almost done with all of our topics for the year. We're finishing off with some 3D solids, and this video is going to be a little different than some of the other ones. This is the last section, but you're going to have to do a little bit more than sit back and just write down the notes. So as we go through this, I'm going to put a pause sign up here, and you'll pause, and I'll show you one. You'll work out one. They're pretty straightforward, filling in the formulas, but at the end, you also will want to put all your formulas here. They're kind of all over your formula sheet, so I think it's helpful to have them organized. Okay, so here we go. Volume, that means we're filling something up. We've been doing surface area, that's the outside if you're going to paint. Volume is filling up something. So name your shape. First of all, the shape's a cylinder. I know the volume of a cylinder formula is pi r squared times height. Pi r squared is the area of a circle. The base is a circle, a base of a cylinder. Now this is on its side. So the cylinder is pretty easy. Plug in what you know. Base times 8 squared times height. The only thing you have to be careful of with a cylinder is if they don't give you the radius, you might have to find it. So the height here, didn't write that in. The height here is 4. So we're just multiplying those together and figuring out your final answer there. Find my pi button on this different calculator. So 804.2, I know it says nearest hundredth there, so 0.25, and this is inches cubed. Volume is always cubed. Okay, there's your pause. Hold it down. And you work out this one on the right. Okay, I go next one. Shape is a rectangular prism. It's a prism because the sides are rectangles and the base is a rectangle. It looks kind of like a cube, but I know it's not. Volume of a prism is capital B times H. Capital B stands for the area of the base. In this case, the area of the base, 8 by 10, and the height is 8. And you might be saying, well, I just know that from when I was a little kid, and I used to just multiply length times width times height. Yes, that's true. But if we have a prism that is not a rectangular base, then we can still use our area of the base times the height. It just happens that the area of the base is length times width. Pause it, work it out. Okay, next one. Oh, the triangular prism. Oh boy, this is a nemesis of some of you. Area of a triangle. Since this is a prism, we still use volume equals base times height, where B is the capital base. So the area of the base, most of you figured out after the last quiz that the area of this triangle is 24, because 1/2 base times height. So that's the area of my base, and then the height is 4. Notice I did not use the 10 at all. Not finding surface area, I don't even need that 10. 24 times 4, 96 feet cubed. When you pause on number 7, pause. Take a look at what's different about this triangle. I'm actually going to do this one. So you go ahead and pause and try to do it, and then I will explain that one. Okay, so again, following your formula, volume equals the area of the base times the height. This time the base is a triangle, and this is not 3 times 7 times a half. The height is there, and the base is there. So in this case, it would be 1/2 8 times 2.6. That times the overall height. If you notice, we have height showing up more than once. So inside of the base, if there's a triangle, that height's different. It could be the same with a trapezoid. Okay, so we've got cylinder, rectangular prism, triangular prism. Oh, now we get to the good stuff. But if you've been doing this the same, you just say this is a prism. Volume equals area of the base times the height. The base is a regular hexagon. So 1/2 AP times my height. And these are the easy ones for the polynomials. 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Be careful, don't switch that 8 and 9 around. 6 times 8 is 48. And then my height was 9. Straight up multiplying those together. Just don't screw it up right now. $1,490. Miles cubed. Go ahead and pause it. Oh, there's a pause button. Gotcha. Work out the other one. Next shape, cone. Tell you a story about the time I went to Cedar Point when I was a kid, and the people used to carry around these big old cones. Everybody thought it was really cool. Giant cones full of pop, walking around with them. What they didn't realize was that Cedar Point was just tricking them with their geometry, because the volume of a cone is actually 1/3 the volume of a cylinder. You might recognize that formula as the cylinder. A cone is 1/3 of a cylinder. So if we take the radius, square it, so 8 squared times the height, this is the cylinder part. So 16 times 64 times pi, that would be 3,216. If that was a cup, you're comparing cups, if that would be a cylindrical cup with those dimensions, you'd have that. But if it's a cone, you divide that by 3, you get 1,072. So it's always 1/3 of, and you can add that to your formula sheet, but it's also, I think it's helpful to notice that. Pause. Last one is a sphere, and the formula for a sphere is the volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. 4/3 pi r cubed. And that's one that you won't have to use without a formula sheet, but it's nice to have them all together. So again, you just got to make sure you have r. This is not r. In this case, r would be 7. So if you're putting this in your calculator, 4/3 pi, 7 to the third. This is the button for that, or just do 7 times 7 times 7. It's a little caret. That's your exponent. So 4 divided by 3 times pi times 7 caret, or like in my calculator, there's a little exponent button, 7 to the third, but it makes a caret. 1,436.76, if I'm rounding, feet cubed. Okay, last pause. And then you need to come see me with the rest of the answers, and I will check them so I know that you know what you're doing. And then there's one formula on the front that's missing that you're going to need for this one. And so you can ask me about that. That's all.